Hi, thank you for watching your Multicultural channel, Community Hour. My name is Fernanda, and today we're gonna record a really interesting episode with Tyler Blashko. He's MLA for Lajimodiere. Hi, Tyler.
Hi, Fernanda. Thanks for having me.
You're more than welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. This is my first stop of the day, so it's a good start to the day.
Awesome. So thank you for coming. And all the people that are watching us, they want to know a little bit more about you. So we want to get to know our politicians. Can you tell us a little bit more about your background?
Yeah, definitely. So as you said, my name's Tyler. I'm a provincial MLA, which is member of the Legislative Assembly for Lajimodiere, which is the very southeast corner of Winnipeg. And I'm with the NDP party, the New Democratic Party. So I'm part of the government. We formed government in October. And within that team, I was also appointed deputy speaker, which there's different roles that come with that. But mainly when the speaker isn't able to be in the chamber, I fill in for him. So I'm happy to do that. I was born in Winnipeg. I spent most of my life here. I'm fortunate in that I represent the community I grew up in. So that's a really nice connection for me in my work, is that I have a strong connection to the neighborhood and a pretty deep history, which I think helps me in my work. And before I got into politics, I was working in education. I helped run a mentorship program for Seven Oaks School Division in Northwest Winnipeg. So I worked at Wayfinders. I was very happy doing that work, but it eventually led me to this work.
Great. And how did you decide to work in politics?
Yeah, so I gradually became more involved in different ways. I think I've always been a political person, involved either in volunteer work, on like nonprofit boards, that kind of stuff. I was involved in student union politics when I was in university. And then ultimately my work with students, with high school students, with their families, really led me to appreciate how our systems serve and also underserve people. And so I really wanted to work to take my advocacy to a different venue. So I decided to pursue running as a candidate, and fortunate for me, I was successful.
Great. For how long have you been in politics or as an MLA?
So I'm still pretty new. I got elected in October, so we are coming up on a year. It's been about 11 months. Yeah, awesome. But I was, I'd say as a candidate, I worked on it for about 2 years before the election.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how are you making sure you are listening to people's needs, and what's the kind of approach they have with you?
Yeah, that's a super important question. I try and be very accessible to my constituents. So I try and have an online presence. I try and be present at different community events. And I also try and be responsive to any correspondence I get from folks. During the summer, we actually try and connect with folks on the doorstep. So even though it's not an election year, me and my team were out connecting with folks, knocking on their doors, asking them if they have any feedback or any concerns. So I try and have that personal relationship with folks in my constituency, because I think it's really helpful when we're trying to problem solve together, to know each other and have an easy back and forth.
Okay. Is there an important achievement that you did during all this time?
So we're about a year into our mandate, and our year 1 of 4. And so we've been really focused. Healthcare is a very central priority for our government and for Manitobans. We want our healthcare system to meet the needs of folks. So that's been a really important provincial issue that we've been working on in different ways. I have a lot of young families in my area, so education is a really big piece of what I talk with my constituents about: education, childcare, bringing more childcare spaces into our community. also ensuring that folks working in the system are well compensated for their work, because it's really important work. And at the local level, I've been really working. We have a couple of new schools going up in the community, so helping answer any questions parents have, making sure they're connected to the school division in different ways. That's some of the work we're taking on right now.
What do you think is one of the most problematic situations that people are going through nowadays here in the city, especially, or they are reaching at you to get solved?
Yeah, I would say the number one thing I hear from folks is concerns about healthcare, because we all care about healthcare. We want it to be there for us and our families when we need it. And also, there's so many people working in the system: the nurses, the doctors, the allied health professionals. So it's ensuring that the system meets the needs of the people accessing it for surgeries or accessing their general practitioner or different tests or diagnostics. But also the folks that are working in the system, we needed to meet their needs. So folks come to us with all kinds of concerns. We're really investing in healthcare, so we acknowledge it's not where we want it to be, but we're trying to move it in a good way so people can have that access to healthcare when they need it. Okay.
So who has this access to the healthcare? Every citizen, PR, or also like newcomers with only work permit, visitors?
Yeah, no, everyone would have access to the healthcare system. People get a Manitoba health card. Okay. Some folks would also get extra healthcare coverage through their work. Okay. Or if they're traveling, they would also probably purchase healthcare to make sure that they're taken care of while they're traveling. But yeah, no, the healthcare system is public, which is great.
What's your role in the legislative? How do you pass the community voices to them or to the government?
Yeah. So I'm a big believer in the work in the legislative building has to be informed by what's going on in community. And in my role, I feel I need to be connected and present in community to make sure I'm doing my best work in the legislative building. Because if I'm disconnected from what's happening out in the world, I'm less informed and making less good decisions in that building. So I try and be very, very present, and I try and make our work in the legislative building relevant to folks I'm talking with, because sometimes it can feel like there's a great distance between what's happening in the world and in Manitoba and our communities and what's happening in the legislative building. So I try and welcome folks into the building whenever possible. I try and go to schools and share what we're doing and make sure kids have a good sense of what their governments can do, the different rules of government, how they can get involved and influence change and stuff like that.
Is it easy to work with people from other parties?
It can be. I think it's important we get to know each other as people and not just as party members. I think it's important we have that foundation of a relationship. We know each other as people, and when we have that common interest, when we get to know each other, we find those common interests. Okay. We get to know common experiences, and I think that helps move things forward when we can really move beyond the partisanship and move towards those shared goals.
Okay, is there any important project that you're working on right now for the community?
Oh, I have a couple. They're early days, but I'm working on some what's called a private members bill. So the individual legislators can propose different pieces of legislation, which is called a private members bill. I'm working on a couple of those. I can't say too much about them because they're supposed to be presented to other legislators before I talk about them publicly.
I see.
But I'm excited. So hopefully in the next few months, they'll be out in the world. And yeah, I'm working on some really building relationships with my counterparts at different levels of government so that we can serve the community in Lajmodia better. So I'm meeting regularly with the city councillors and the school trustees and the member of parliament for the area to make sure that we're kind of working towards similar things and we can help each other out as we help our constituents.
How do you think we can get involved for youngest generations into politics?
There's so many different ways to get involved and like for youth to get involved. And so I'm hoping, what I always tell folks, and I think because I worked with youth in my past life, I always tried to encourage them to try something new, discover their passions, really lean into what they care about. And I think if you find your skills, find your talents, and are given the space to really explore those things, you'll be successful in life. So if politics is one of those things, I know there's all kinds of different roles folks can play. There's this role, but there's all kinds of roles behind the scenes, whether it's communications or logistics, or running campaigns, all kinds of ways to get involved. So I go to schools whenever I can. I love spending time with students. So I try and really humanize the experience where it's not it's not unknown faces that are making all these decisions at the legislative building. I'm hoping that they can see it's people there that are doing their best, but also like we're doing our best if we have input from our community. So we want to be accessible. We want students to feel like they can ask questions, they can get involved, they can engage with us on social media, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, and how can they help you on your team?
You know what? I think being helpful is being engaged and contributing to your communities however it makes sense. So kind of like what I was saying earlier about following your passions and developing your talents. I think if folks are contributing to their communities and in their capacity, whatever it is, I think they're building something good. And our party's and our government's all about the idea of one Manitoba, where we all succeed together. So if people are contributing, if people are putting their best foot forward, like that's them helping towards this project.
Great. And how do you separate your personal life from this special role that you have into politics right now?
Yeah, it can be tricky. I have not figured that out perfectly yet.
Okay.
But I do try and carve out some time to not be working. I try and put some boundaries up. I try and check in with my husband and spend time with our dog and stay connected with our families. They're also all very gracious and know that I'm adjusting to this new work. So they give me a lot of leeway. But okay. I do try and find some balance, and I'm still figuring that out.
Okay. Is it easy to go outside and find a lot of people that already know you and they want to talk to you?
Yes and no. Like it kind of depends on the day and where I'm going. And, but I'm fortunate in that everyone's been really great. And sometimes I stop and talk to folks in the grocery store. And then other times I can get in and out really quickly.
What is the easiest way to reach you out?
Sorry, say that.
What's the easiest way to contact you?
Oh, to contact me. Well, I'm on Instagram and Facebook, Tyler for Lajmodia. And I have a local office on St. Anne's Road, 567 St. Anne's. And we have our office there. I have a great team that works with me. So there's all kinds of ways to get in contact.
Great. Do you have any special advice or message for the community? The situation is not easy nowadays, but
I think I would just hope folks feel and see a government that's working for them, that's really trying to support them in different ways and create different opportunities for them to be successful. I know our team is really passionate about seeing Manitoba grow and prosper together. So we're doing what we can in our capacity, but we are always open to connecting with folks and hearing different perspectives and getting a sense of what we could be doing better, because we're always trying to improve.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you want to add to this interview?
Oh, anything else? No, I would just encourage folks to reach out to their local folks, get in their local representatives, whether it's provincial or city or federal or school trustees. It's really good to have that personal connection, know the people that are making these decisions, and hopefully they're making informed decisions, and you can often help them get a better sense of the impact of their decisions. So really, really getting the sense of your community and helping make sure that we're making the best decisions we can.
Why is it important to vote?
I think it's important to vote. I also think the idea and the institution of democracy is much more than that. So the voting every election is super important. That's where you make your mark. You say this is the person that I want to represent me, and hopefully you're making that decision in an informed way and considering what your priorities are, what your values are, but also there's all that time in between elections where conversations can be had, where you can organize your community around issues to help informed elected folks, but also the broader community about what's important to you and your community. And so I think there's real importance on those moments in between elections where conversations can be had, organizing can happen, and real change can happen, both at election time but also in between.
Are you getting ready for the next elections?
Always. We're always working. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and always planning for the future.
That's great.
Yeah.
So Tyler, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And I hope all of you enjoyed this special episode. I want you guys to get to know our politicians and don't forget that your vote matters. Yay! So don't forget to follow your Multicultural channel on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Bye-bye.